Welcome to your midweek daily rundown with me, Cal Doughty. This is the show on Channel 7 where we look at some of the day's big talking points and some little bits you may have missed too. But first, it's time to introduce my wonderful guests who will help us make sense of it all. He's a community activist, a teacher and musician. It's Stephen Durrant.
Hello.
Hello, you're right. Thank you for joining us.
I'm more or less all right, thanks, yeah.
That's good. Good to hear. And she's a rad blogger and performance poet. It's Madie Howard.
Hey, I'm glad I'm rad.
Yeah, you are rad. It's good to have you here. You almost couldn't make it today.
I know, right? I've been ill all day, but then I just thought, no, I'm going to power through.
I really appreciate it.
It's because I'm rad.
Should we do our first story?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Well, first we'll introduce the thing. Now, if you want to get involved with the show and have your say on anything we chat about, then just tweet us at The Daily Rundown. That's at The Daily Rundown on Twitter. Go on, you will not regret it. Follow us while you're there, or otherwise you've wasted your time. Now, to look at our first story. Ireland should recover up to €13 billion, that's £11 billion, from Apple in back taxes, the European Commission has ruled. After a 3-year investigation, it has concluded that the US firm's Irish tax benefits are illegal. Ireland enabled the company to pay substantially less tax than other businesses, in effect paying a corporate tax rate of no more than 1%. But today the Irish government said it will appeal the ruling. They said that Ireland did not give favourable tax treatment to Apple. In the past, the Irish government has been criticised, particularly in the US, for almost being a tax haven, something it strongly denies. What do we think about this?
Ireland have given them beneficial
You
status.
reckon?
Yeah, but I mean, hopefully the channel won't get sued, and they won't get sued for what I'm about to say either. It's no secret. I got a lot of Irish connections, and it's no secret that the corruption is pretty widespread in Irish politics, and always has been, as it is in many countries, to be fair.
Okay.
And the EU ruling on this seems, not that I defend the EU on everything, but it seems to be fair. They want a level playing field. They don't just want sweetheart deals that sink the other 27 nations kind of thing. And the interesting thing is that Ireland, I think it's many thousands of euro per family that this equates to, and yet the government is sitting there saying, oh no, we don't want that. Kind of thing. Now, what kind of arrangement is it that has a government saying we don't want thousands of pounds per family from this international corporation?
Well, what do you think it is that would be causing that? Corruption again. You got a little cough there. You're right.
Yeah. But it's very, very possible, isn't it? These it doesn't have to be the C word. It's just these cosy meetings that occur between politicians and senior execs of global corporations that seem to manifest these very nice deals, while the Joe Schmo has to pay 30-40% tax.
Yeah.
And there's a common. Sorry, I'll just finish on this point before people start thinking, as they do, oh well, Apple and other companies like that provide jobs.
Yep.
Well, they provide jobs and money in exchange for labour, right? That's the quid pro quo there. What they're also getting for the taxes, or what is the infrastructure, the sewerage, the roadworks, the educated workforce, which Ireland massively is. It's a very educated workforce indeed, landing on Apple's doorstep free of charge unless they're paying tax. So they're basically freeloading. Right. Unless they pay their fair share of tax, which the Irish government doesn't want them to do.
But with this sort of being pushed forward, and they're really going for it and trying to get this tax back, do you think this will happen to other companies as well? Like if this is successful, do you reckon this will get the ball rolling?
It has happened. It's happened on a smaller scale, I think, in Luxembourg and somewhere else as well. The EU have acted like this. I think they will continue in this manner. They seem to be quite strict about it, and it seems to be fair enough, really.
Yeah. Okay. Maddie, do you reckon this is something we could see happening in other countries?
Yeah, I mean, there was talk of it being a warm-up to tackling companies like Google.
Right.
And that's completely unsurprising. I think that's the way that it sort of plays out in these cases. But then again, I don't know who's going to succeed. I agree with you that the EU has completely been fair in their ruling. It would be pretty insane to think it wasn't fair. I mean, I get taxed more than 1%. I'm sure the majority of companies do, as they should. And you have to question what the situation is. As you say, it's corruption, and what exactly is the situation that makes the government say, oh, it's completely fair, please stop challenging it, leave it alone, there's a special arrangement, but what is it? And that's something that, sadly, we're not going to find the answer to, I don't think.
If they get away with it, then it's a Dutch auction, isn't it, for other countries?
It means other companies could also say that, well, if you got away with it, why are we suddenly being persecuted?
It sets a standard, yeah.
It will sort of cancel it all away and make it so that you can't do that with other companies. So I think they're really going to, do you reckon they really push for this sort of thing?
Yeah, and they want this situation. The Irish government will say that they want to be not a tax haven or whatever, but they benefit an awful lot off of low corporate taxes, which they have done for quite some time, which in some ways is fair enough. But what you will get in the UK, with the whole Brexit thing looming, is us wanting to be like that, the Singapore with the West and all this kind of thing. And again, it's just a Dutch auction, and it just suppresses taxes from corporations, and it stuffs the taxpayer.
So you talk about corruption and how it stuffs the taxpayer, but looking at it long term, what effect do you reckon getting these companies in? Like, sure, they get let's say the corruption takes place and they get the odd payment now and then from this company to them to make them do these sort of deals, but what could they possibly look to be gaining long term? There must be some sort of ramifications on the country as a whole.
Who's seeking to gain the country?
The country, I suppose, like the governments that are doing these things.
No, it's just it's not a government in that sense. It's a bunch of individuals who get taken to the opera.
Right. Yes.
Or the football tickets or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The corporate, the corporate box, the executive box, and the sweet talking over 5-course dinner and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Which they may or may not declare. I don't know the rules in Ireland, but that's how it works. It's not a secret. That's not even called corruption. That's just lobbying.
Just lobbying.
Yeah, which isn't corrupt at all.
Let's say this did go ahead and they did get this money back. What do you think the ramifications of that is? Madie, do you have any thoughts on what that could mean for the company as a whole? What do you reckon that could mean for the EU?
For Apple as a whole, what if the EU ruling was successful? Well, I would like that to be the case, and then people can see that the EU actually does have something to say, it does have a valid reason for existing, and that it is somewhere that you can take cases to when they aren't sorted out fairly by governments, like the Irish government. I mean, this is a prime example, and people just so quickly said, oh, we'll leave the EU, they're useless, and it would be an example of them not being useless. However, conversely, if the opposite were to happen, then it wouldn't put them in a great light, and that would be a sort of bad PR for the EU. But let's be honest, the ramifications for Apple wouldn't be dire, would they? They would continue existing. But you would buy their products still. It's gone far too far. It's a massive brand, and and I'm going to have to give them hundreds of pounds because I dropped my phone when I was inebriated. So,
So they're going to get your money right away.
They get loads of money from me, from this taxpayer.
To pay off that tax, maybe.
I know people who work for them in Ireland who actually say they're an okay employer in Ireland, but in China, of course, we know about the suicide nets and what have you. So it seems that they're the typical company that will do what they can get away with, and this taxing is just another instance of that.
So if with the taxing, let's say once again that they do manage to get that tax back, what do you reckon Apple would then do? Maybe as a company, would there be any issues for the employees of the company if they suddenly lost this 15 billion euros?
If I was Apple and I was a capitalist, then I would perhaps look at the options for upping sticks and going somewhere else, but that's very costly in itself.
Yes.
They will threaten to, of course they will, that's how it works, but whether they'll actually follow through on it, I don't know. Perhaps they would threaten to move to the UK, but of course there's an awful lot of companies looking to move from the UK to Ireland now as well because of the whole Brexit thing. So what they say and what they do will be very different things perhaps and play out over the next 5 years or more. It's like they probably don't know themselves, so I can't expect us to know. Right,
yeah. What do you think is the ultimate outcome here? What do you think is actually going to happen?
Usually fudge, isn't it? Usually, that's the usual answer in these instances, and probably the Irish people will get some of the money, but the Irish people have to think about who they're voting for.
Yes.
Perhaps that should be the ultimate outcome.
Right, okay. What do you think would ultimately happen with this? And
I'm going to be optimistic.
You're going to be optimistic?
Yeah, I'm going to say that Apple will have to pay out and that the EU ruling will be successful.
Be successful.
Optimism, positive thinking.
Yeah, why not?
Hopefully that'll lead the way. Excellent. Well, that's the end of part 1 of the Daily Rundown. Still to come, Uber Trains and Sir Cliff. Get the kettle on and the three of us will be back in just a few minutes here on Channel 7 and Daily Rundown. Don't go away.